My friends, my beloved, listen to me today as we unravel a truth that too many of us are afraid to confront, yet it stands firm and unwavering, waiting to be revealed. Sometimes the most profound purpose comes wrapped up in places we would rather avoid, bound up in circumstances we never imagined for ourselves. Today, let's talk about purpose in the prison, those moments when life feels confined, restricted, and heavy. It may not be a literal prison with bars of steel, but a mental and emotional one built from pain, setbacks, and regrets. Sometimes it's the prison of our past mistakes or the limitations placed on us by people who couldn't see what we are truly capable of. But hear me, there is purpose even in your prison. Life often serves up moments we wish we could fast forward, seasons we pray would pass sooner, and situations that test the very fabric of our being. These are the times that feel like our personal prisons, those long nights of worry, those days filled with disappointment, those stretches where hope seems like a distant star we can't reach. Yet let us pause and understand something fundamental. Challenges, setbacks, and times of confinement are not pointless. They are not arbitrary events thrown in our path to destroy us. On the contrary, they are carefully woven opportunities, preparation grounds for something far greater than we can comprehend in the moment. You see, adversity has a purpose. It's like the refiner's fire that purges impurities from gold, making it pure and valuable. Think about the stories of triumph we admire most. They are not tales of ease or paths lined with rose petals. They are accounts of resilience, stories where mountains had to be moved, valleys had to be crossed, and souls had to be tested. This testing, this period of pressing, is what gives substance to the glory that comes afterward. The greater the trial, the greater the testimony. It is in adversity that our character is not only revealed, but also molded into something stronger, something worthy of the calling ahead. When you face a storm, it is tempting to become frustrated, to wonder why a good and loving creator would allow pain to visit your doorstep. It's easy to think you're being punished, sidelined, or forgotten. But what if the very storms that shake us are designed to steady us? What if those moments that threaten to undo us are actually the divine method of fortifying us for the journey ahead? Picture a tree planted in shallow soil. When a storm comes, that tree is easily uprooted. But the trees that withstand hurricane-force winds are those whose roots have been forced to grow deep, sometimes painfully deep, because of constant exposure to trials. These trees have been shaped by the very elements that sought to destroy them, becoming unshakable pillars. Our lives, too, are like those trees. The storms are necessary for our growth. Sometimes confinement, a closed door, a prolonged setback, an unexpected betrayal is the very soil in which our roots are compelled to dig deeper, searching for sustenance, searching for strength that only comes from something beyond ourselves. It is in these moments that we are forced to access a deeper well of determination, faith, and resilience. We come to know our true strength not when life is easy, but when every step feels like an uphill climb. Let me remind you, even in the Bible, the greatest stories of transformation and purpose came through seasons of unimaginable hardship. Joseph was sold into slavery by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, and later locked in prison for a crime he did not commit. If there was ever a person who had the right to question the point of his suffering, it was him. But what we see through his journey is that the prison was not the end, it was merely a stop on the road to the palace. The confinement, the chains, the isolation, none of it was wasted. Instead, it became the very platform from which he would later save a nation. His suffering prepared him for his purpose, and without the adversity, he would not have been equipped to handle the responsibility of leadership. And isn't that what adversity does for all of us? It prepares us, toughens us, and readies us for responsibilities we could not handle in our present form. Sometimes we dream of greatness, we ask for abundance, or we desire a destiny that will impact many lives. But we must be ready to steward those blessings. It takes the furnace of hardship to burn away immaturity, impatience, and pride. Adversity stretches our capacity, shaping us into people who can hold the weight of the dreams we are praying for. Consider, too, the power of perspective in these moments. The very same trial that seems like a curse could be the greatest blessing in disguise if only we choose to see it that way. When you are pressed on all sides, when your resources are depleted, and when your heart feels heavy, there is a choice to make. You can sink into despair, or you can see the confinement as an opportunity to be refined. You can view the delay as a period of preparation, a chance to become more disciplined, more focused, more dependent on divine wisdom rather than your own understanding. This kind of perspective doesn't come easily. It requires a deliberate shift, a daily choice to believe that nothing is wasted in the divine plan. Even the darkest seasons serve a higher purpose. Think of the caterpillar in the cocoon, completely enclosed, seemingly trapped and immobilized. From the outside, it looks like the end, but we know it's merely the beginning of transformation. The struggle of breaking free from that cocoon is what gives the butterfly the strength to fly. Without the struggle, there is no flight. Without the prison of the cocoon, there is no transformation. The confinement is essential to the purpose. In our own lives, there are countless moments that feel like the end. The loss of a job can seem devastating, a broken relationship can feel like a crushing blow, and a period of failure can make us question our very worth. But if we allow these moments to teach us, to mold us, and to strengthen our resolve, we can emerge better, not bitter. We become more compassionate, more resilient, and more attuned to the needs of others because we have tasted the depths of despair ourselves. Think of it this way: if every door you desired had opened for you, if every wish had been granted without delay, you might have never learned patience or perseverance. You might have missed out on discovering the depth of your own creativity, your own inner strength. It is often in the wilderness that we discover our true selves and our true calling. The desert has a way of revealing what is within us, purging what cannot survive the journey, and planting seeds that will bloom in due season. So when you find yourself in a place of confinement, a place where the future seems uncertain and the past haunts you, remember this: there is purpose in your prison. The hardship is not pointless, it is producing something precious in you. So it may not make sense now, but trust that your roots are growing deeper, your wings are being prepared for flight, and your soul is being ready for something greater than you could ever imagine. Hold on, don't despise the process. Your future self will thank you for enduring this season, for believing in the purpose hidden within your adversity. Because when your moment comes, when the prison doors swing open and you step into your destiny, you will look back and see that every tear, every setback, and every struggle was worth it. It was all necessary to bring you to the place of your purpose. Life, as unpredictable as it is, often throws us into the depths of challenges we never asked for and confrontations we never thought we'd face. These trials, these moments of struggle, can leave us feeling broken, defeated, and questioning the very essence of our purpose. It's in these moments of loss and limitation that our instinct is to mourn over what we no longer have, to grieve over missed opportunities, or to dwell on doors that have slammed shut in our faces. But I'm here to tell you that there is a divine call, a powerful shift that each one of us can make to stop lamenting over what's gone and start considering what we are being prepared for. This shift in perspective is not just a mental exercise, it's a spiritual awakening to the purpose and possibility hidden within our pain. When we find ourselves in the midst of a storm, it's natural to focus on the rain and the wind. We complain about being drenched and long for clear skies. Yet, if we could look beyond the immediate discomfort, we might begin to understand that the storm is watering seeds we didn't even know had been planted. Too often we see our struggles as punishment rather than preparation. But every great destiny comes with its own set of challenges designed to equip and ready us for what lies ahead. What if, instead of wallowing in disappointment, we dared to ask, what is this struggle preparing me for? What strength am I developing? What skills am I honing? What inner fortitude am I gaining that will serve me in ways I cannot yet foresee? Imagine an athlete preparing for a marathon. Training is grueling. It involves waking up early, enduring physical pain, and pushing the body to its limits. There are days when the runner questions the purpose of the suffering. Why am I putting myself through this? Why not quit and choose comfort? But deep down, the athlete knows that every step, every moment of discomfort is part of the preparation. The sweat and the exhaustion are not signs of failure, they are evidence of growth, signs that the body is being conditioned for the big race. Similarly, our struggles condition us for what is to come. They stretch us, push us, and prepare us to handle the blessings and assignments that await us. Our human tendency is to fixate on what we lack. We dwell on the talents we don't possess, the opportunities we missed, or the relationships that didn't work out. We look at others who seem to have it all together and wonder why our story isn't as seamless. But here's the secret: it's in the places of lack that the greatest growth occurs. It's when we are forced to make do with limited resources that we discover ingenuity we didn't know we had. It's when we are deprived of comfort that we learn to rely on a higher source of strength. The struggle is the soil in which our roots grow deep and our resilience is cultivated. The shift in perspective I'm talking about requires us to view our setbacks as setups for something greater. Imagine a bow and arrow. To propel the arrow forward, the bow must first be pulled back. The greater the tension, the farther the arrow will soar. Our struggles work in much the same way. When we feel pulled back, when life seems to be dragging us into places we'd rather not go, it's easy to despair. But what if the tension, the setback, is actually what's preparing us to be launched into our purpose with greater force and precision than we ever imagined? This shift in thinking is not about denying the reality of pain or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It's about embracing a deeper understanding of our journey. Yes, there are moments when life knocks us down so hard that we struggle to breathe. But even in the darkest valley, we have the choice to find meaning in our struggle, to see our pain as part of a process rather than a pointless punishment, to believe that the hardships we face today are training us for the victories of tomorrow. Consider the story of a sculptor working on a block of marble. The untrained eye might see the chisel strikes as destruction, as the marble is chipped away bit by bit. But the sculptor knows that each strike is intentional, shaping the stone into something beautiful, something purposeful. Likewise, the challenges in our lives are not there to destroy us, they are there to shape us, to carve away what no longer serves us and reveal the masterpiece within. The loss you mourn might be the very thing that makes room for something greater. The closed door might be guiding you to the one that was meant to open all along. To truly shift your perspective, you must believe in the value of the struggle. Understand that you are being equipped for something you cannot yet see. Just because you don't understand the reason for your pain doesn't mean there isn't one. Think about an entrepreneur who goes through financial setbacks or business failures. In the moment, it's devastating. But often it's through those very failures that they learn the lessons, gain the wisdom, and develop the tenacity to succeed in the long run. Those failures, painful as they are, become the foundation for future triumphs. It's not easy to see beyond your present difficulties. When you're in the thick of the struggle, it feels all-consuming. But there is a freedom that comes from choosing to trust the process, to trust that every obstacle is an opportunity, every challenge a classroom, and every setback a stepping stone. The moment you begin to see your struggles as training rather than torture, your perspective shifts, and so does your experience of life. Imagine what it would feel like to embrace your journey with this newfound perspective. Instead of being paralyzed by fear or regret, you would be empowered to move forward with courage. You would understand that the heartbreak, the delay, the rejection, all of it is preparing you for something bigger. You would be able to look at your scars and see them not as marks of defeat, but as badges of honor, proof that you survived, that you grew, that you emerged stronger and more resilient. Sometimes we don't get to see the full picture right away. The pieces of our lives might feel disjointed and chaotic, but they are coming together in ways that only make sense later. Your struggles today may be the very lessons that make you a wise leader, a compassionate friend, or a strong advocate for change tomorrow. Every difficulty you face is adding depth to your story, teaching you lessons you'll one day use to uplift others. So, my dear friend, the next time you are tempted to focus on what you've lost or what you can't do, pause and remind yourself of the greater narrative unfolding. You are being prepared. Your struggles are not meaningless. They are your training ground. The tears you've shed are watering seeds that will grow into a harvest of blessings. The challenges are building muscles you'll need for your destiny. Shift your perspective, and you'll see that even in the midst of the struggle, there is hope, purpose, and a future that's being prepared for you. Adversity is a reality we all face at some point in our lives. It can feel heavy and suffocating, like chains that limit our movement and constrain our dreams. When we're in that season of struggle, a season that feels like an inescapable prison, our instinct is often to hunker down, endure it, and wait for it to pass. We hope that if we simply survive the storm, brighter days will come. But survival alone isn't enough. There is a higher calling that beckons us to engage with our adversity, to learn and grow from it, so that when the chains finally come off, we are more prepared, more refined, and more capable than we ever were before. Engaging with adversity is about doing more than just enduring. It's about transforming passive endurance into active participation. Think of the difference between someone sitting on the sidelines during a game, hoping for the best, versus someone who trains rigorously, even during off season, honing their skills and preparing for the day they're called to step onto the field. Life's challenges are no different. When you face obstacles, it's not enough to simply wait them out. You have to dig in, look for lessons, and seize opportunities for growth. Imagine you find yourself in a season of financial struggle. It might be tempting to curl up in fear and wait for a miracle to lift you out of your situation. But what if you chose instead to engage? What if you saw this season as an opportunity to develop new financial literacy skills, to learn how to budget, invest, or even start a side hustle? By actively engaging with the challenge, you are not only weathering the storm, but also preparing for a future where you're wiser and more equipped to manage abundance when it arrives. In adversity, there is always a chance to learn something new. The world is full of stories of people who, when faced with insurmountable obstacles, chose to use that time to develop themselves. Think of a person who finds themselves unexpectedly unemployed. Instead of spending every day lamenting their situation, they could choose to pick up a new skill, perhaps something they'd always been curious about but never had time to explore. They might dive into online courses, learn a new language, or master a technical skill that could open doors to entirely new career opportunities. Engaging with adversity means treating your current limitations as a classroom, a place where you are being equipped for what lies ahead. Adversity also has a way of revealing parts of our character that need refining. It can expose impatience, fear in the areas where we still lack discipline or resilience. But once those weaknesses are exposed, we have a choice. We can either ignore them and hope they go away, or we can address them head on. When we actively engage with our struggles, we confront our weaknesses and turn them into strengths. Maybe your adversity highlights a tendency to give up too easily. Maybe it shows you that you rely too heavily on the validation of others. These revelations, painful as they might be, are actually gifts. They are invitations to become stronger, more centered, and more resilient. Think of someone who has gone through a painful breakup or the end of a significant relationship. The temptation is to numb the pain, to distract oneself until the heartache fades. But engaging with that pain means using the time to reflect on personal growth. It's about understanding what went wrong, what lessons can be learned, and what healing needs to take place. It's about investing in self-care, self-awareness, and building the inner strength that will serve in future relationships. By the time the healing is complete, that person is not only over the pain, but also more self-assured, more whole, and more prepared to thrive in love. Engaging with adversity also means looking for opportunities that might be hidden within the struggle. It's about being creative and resourceful, seeing possibilities where others see only problems. Sometimes our greatest innovations are born in our toughest times. Consider the entrepreneur who, after a business failure, takes the time to study market trends and discovers a new, untapped niche. Or the student who, after struggling with traditional academic paths, finds an alternative career that lights their passion. When we engage with our adversity, we allow ourselves to be surprised by new directions, new dreams, and new opportunities that emerge from the rubble of our disappointments. This active approach to struggle requires a shift in mindset. It means refusing to see ourselves as victims of our circumstances. It means believing that even the hardest seasons can be meaningful and fruitful. This does not mean denying the pain of our experiences or pretending everything is fine. Instead, it's about acknowledging the difficulty while also deciding to grow in the midst of it. It's about asking, how can I come out of this season stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the future? Sometimes engaging with adversity means developing new habits that we might not have otherwise considered. For instance, someone dealing with immense stress or anxiety might decide to take up meditation or exercise, not just as a temporary fix, but as a lifelong discipline. What started as a coping mechanism becomes a transformative practice that improves their quality of life long after the adversity is past. It's in these small, deliberate actions that lasting change occurs. One of the greatest benefits of actively engaging with adversity is the story you end up telling. Imagine the inspiration your journey can provide to someone else who is struggling. Your story becomes a testimony, a beacon of hope to others who feel trapped in their own prisons. When you've actively worked through your pain, developed your skills, and refined your character, you become a guide for others. Your scars become proof of survival, and your growth becomes a roadmap for others to follow. But how do we start? How do we actively engage when everything in us wants to retreat and hide? It begins with a simple daily commitment. It starts with asking the right questions. What can I learn today? How can I grow even in this discomfort? What action can I take, however small, to move forward? It's about being intentional with your time and energy, recognizing that every effort, no matter how small, contributes to your future success. We must also surround ourselves with people who inspire us to keep going. Engaging with adversity is not something we are meant to do alone. Community mentorship and accountability are crucial. Sometimes just hearing someone else's story of overcoming can reignite our own hope. Being around people who are also actively pursuing growth can motivate us to keep pushing forward. Ultimately, when we engage rather than merely endure, we reclaim power over our narrative. We take control of our story instead of letting our struggles define us. We become co-creators of our destiny, participants in our journey rather than passive bystanders. By the time the chains come off and the season of adversity ends, we are not the same as when we entered it. We are sharper, stronger, and more prepared for the opportunities that await. So let this be a call to action. Don't just endure your prison season, engage with it, learn from it, grow within it. Use every setback as a setup for a comeback. Use every challenge as a chance to refine your character and expand your skills. Because when the doors finally open, and they will, you'll be ready to step into your future. Prepare for every blessing and assignment that comes your way. In life, challenges and struggles are inevitable. They visit our lives uninvited, turning our world upside down and testing our resolve. When these moments come, and there's a question that often rises from the depths of our despair: why me? It's a question that echoes through the hearts of many, resonating with the pain of unexpected loss, disappointment, or failure. But there is a more powerful, transformative approach we can choose. Instead of seeking pity or wallowing in self-doubt, we can seek purpose. We can ask a different question, one that has the potential to change the trajectory of our experience. Instead of why me, we can start asking, what can I learn from this? This shift in focus, from seeking pity to seeking purpose, is the beginning of a journey toward discovering the deeper meaning embedded in our struggles. It is natural to feel hurt, confused, and overwhelmed when we're going through a difficult time. Our human inclination is to feel sorry for ourselves and dwell on the unfairness of our situation. The pain is real, and acknowledging it is part of the healing process. But if we stay in that place too long, if we become consumed by our desire for sympathy and validation, we risk missing the very lessons that our trials are designed to teach us. You see, every challenge we face carries within it an opportunity, a chance to grow, to gain wisdom, to become stronger. But these opportunities don't reveal themselves to those who are stuck in self-pity. They become visible only to those who dare to seek them, who choose to view their struggles as teachers rather than as enemies. Imagine a seed buried deep in the soil. From the outside, it might seem as if the seed has been swallowed up by darkness, buried and forgotten. But beneath the surface, something miraculous is happening. The pressure and darkness are necessary for the seed to sprout, for roots to grow deep, and for life to eventually break through. In the same way, our moments of struggle and pain can feel like darkness swallowing us whole. But what if this darkness is precisely what we need to grow and transform? What if, instead of feeling buried, we chose to feel planted, knowing that our struggles are preparing us to blossom in ways we never imagined? Seeking purpose in pain does not mean ignoring or suppressing our feelings. It means having the courage to ask ourselves deeper questions. It's about shifting from a mindset of victimhood to one of growth. Asking, "What can I learn?" invites reflection. It encourages us to look inward and ask how our experiences are shaping us. Perhaps the struggle is teaching us resilience. Perhaps it is refining our character, teaching us patience, or helping us let go of things we once thought we needed but no longer serve us. Every trial we endure has something to teach, but we must be willing to pay attention, to dig deep, and to mine the wisdom hidden within. Consider the people we often admire most, those who have faced immense challenges and come out stronger on the other side. Their stories are not defined by the hardships they faced, but by how they chose to respond to those hardships. These individuals did not let self-pity dictate their narrative. Instead, they saw a purpose in their pain, and in doing so, they found the strength to persevere and the wisdom to inspire others. Their trials became an essential part of their destiny, molding them into the leaders, healers, and change makers we respect. Seeking purpose requires a change in how we view suffering. We are often tempted to think that life is supposed to be easy, that the absence of pain means we are on the right path. But pain is not necessarily an indication that we are doing something wrong. Sometimes it is evidence that we are being stretched, that we are growing, that we are being prepared for something greater. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is refined through fire. In the same way, our character is often forged in the crucible of our most difficult experiences. When we stop asking why me and start asking what can I learn, we also begin to understand that our struggles can have a ripple effect far beyond our own lives. Our stories of triumph and growth can serve as a light for someone else who is walking through their own darkness. By seeking purpose in our pain, we give our struggles a greater meaning. We transform our hardships into testimonies, into sources of hope and strength for others. Our pain, once redeemed, becomes a powerful tool for impact. What a profound shift that is, to realize that our trials are not just about us, they are about the greater purpose we are called to serve. Think about the concept of endurance. Endurance is not just the ability to withstand pain, it's the ability to keep moving forward with purpose, even when everything inside us wants to give up. When we engage in endurance, we are actively participating in the shaping of our destiny. We are choosing to grow through what we go through, knowing that every moment of perseverance is adding to our strength and character. It's easy to endure passively, to grit our teeth and simply hope the hardship will end. But true endurance is about engagement, about being present and actively seeking out the purpose hidden in our trials. Our struggles can also teach us empathy. Once we have walked through the fire, we can better understand the pain of others. This understanding allows us to connect on a deeper level, to offer compassion and support in ways that only someone who has been there can. Our pain equips us to be a source of comfort and strength, to be the voice that says, "I've been where you are, and I know it's hard, but there is hope on the other side." This is yet another way our struggles are woven into our destiny, preparing us to make a difference in the world. It's important to remember that seeking purpose is a process. It doesn't mean we will immediately understand why we are going through a particular struggle. Sometimes clarity comes only with time and hindsight. But the mere act of seeking, the willingness to look for meaning and growth, changes us. It gives us the strength to keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. It allows us to transform from victims of our circumstances to active participants in our own story. We may never fully understand why certain things happen to us, but that doesn't mean we can't find purpose in them. Sometimes the very struggles we wish we could erase are the ones that shape us into the people we are meant to become. They break us open, forcing us to let go of old dreams and habits, making room for something new and more aligned with our true calling. They teach us to trust the process, to have faith even when the path is steep, and the journey feels long. So the next time you face a trial, resist the urge to ask, why me? Don't let your pain make you bitter or harden your heart. Instead, lean in. Seek purpose, not pity. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? What strength am I developing? What is this experience preparing me for? You may not have all the answers right away, but your willingness to ask the questions is the first step toward transformation. Embrace the opportunity to discover the purpose hidden in your struggles. Trust that every trial is part of a greater plan, one that is shaping you for your destiny. You are not defined by what happens to you, but by how you choose to respond. Choose to seek purpose. Choose to grow. Choose to grow. Choose to believe that your pain is not wasted and that, in the end, it is all working together to prepare you for something extraordinary. In the journey through life's trials and tribulations, the true measure of our character is not how well we endure, but how actively we engage and grow in our seasons of struggle. Purpose is the compass that guides us through the storm, transforming our pain into power, our setbacks into setups for greater comebacks. We are called to shift our perspective, to see adversity not as a punishment, but as preparation for the extraordinary. We must choose to engage, to refine our skills and character, and to seek purpose rather than wallow in self-pity. Every trial we face has the potential to mold us into the person we are destined to become. The pressure, the fire, the darkness, they are not meant to destroy us, but to develop us, to strengthen us, and to reveal the hidden potential within. When we learn to ask, what can I learn instead of why me, we unlock the wisdom embedded in our challenges and emerge more resilient, more refined, and more prepared for the blessings that await us. So let us rise with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that our struggles are shaping us for greatness. Engage with your adversity, grow from it, and step boldly into your destiny, ready for the extraordinary life you are called to live. Thank you.